Tonight in your Consumer Watch, a scam involving cars and their odometers. A report from Carfax finds a little more than 2 million vehicles are on the road with odometers that have been rolled back. In Michigan, the report says there are about 41,000 such vehicles. Joining us tonight is the editor-in-chief of Carfax, Patrick Olsen. Thanks for being here, Patrick.
Thanks for having me.
So, for those who don't know, haven't heard of this before, what exactly is odometer fraud and how does it work?
Sure. So there are people out there, scammers, who are looking to basically give a car a facelift. They want to take anywhere from 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 or more miles off of a car because that will dramatically raise its value.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 100,000. What's the most egregious that you have seen out there?
Well, we've heard reports just this week of a guy in Iowa who bought an Audi A6 that had 120,000 miles rolled back on his odometer.
Wow. Talk about how much value, how much of a car's value goes into that mileage. Like, how much are people losing when they are victims of this kind of fraud?
Sure. So we at Carfax estimate that a person who buys a car with a rollback odometer on average loses about $4,000. And it's because used car prices are so high. We took a look at two 2018 Ford F-150 trucks, one with 50,000 miles, one with 150,000 miles. The difference in value between them was $10,300. And that's a lot of incentive for scammers.
Yeah, so it begs the question, how can you tell when you're out car shopping whether the odometer has been rolled back or not?
Well, there are three things you should do and one thing you absolutely shouldn't do. So number one is if a deal sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Secondly, get a vehicle history report. So Carfax tracks when a car goes through a safety inspection, emissions inspection, gets re-registered every year, and those miles start to add up on that vehicle history report. So you can check that and see if at one point it's at 80,000 and suddenly it drops back to 60,000. That's a red flag. Third, take your car to a mechanic you trust. They can get the car up on lift, and not only can they see things that you can't see, they know what they're looking at. They can see if, let's say, the shocks or struts seem way more worn than what the mileage on the odometer indicates. The one thing you shouldn't do
Sure.
is trust your eyes. A scammer can easily put new tires on a car, they can detail it, they can make it look showroom fresh, but then you'll discover the truth many miles later.
Are people running into this kind of fraud more when you're buying a vehicle directly from a person? Can it happen from a dealership as well?
It can happen almost anywhere, and that's why the vehicle history is so important because we have them for every car that has a vehicle identification number, and that's every car built since 1981.
And then finally, a lot of cars now have digital odometers. It's not the classic ones we might be used to. So does that help? Is it harder to roll it back or even easier in that situation?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people assume that the old sort of rotary analog odometers would be much easier to change than today's digital ones. But sadly, hackers have done a good job of reverse engineering. And so for a few $100s online, there are devices you can get. They have a legitimate purpose for legitimate mechanics, but they can easily roll back miles on a car and leave no trace that they were there so that owners would never have any indication from looking at the car itself.
Wow. Always something. Thank you so much, Patrick, editor-in-chief of Carfax, for joining us. A lot of great tips to keep in mind for anyone going car shopping anytime soon. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.